Yeah. Let that set the tone for what we're about to look at. But what are we actually looking at? The Resident Evil 2 beta. What's going on, everyone? It's the Niskel. Welcome back to Resident Evil 2, in a manner of speaking. Basically, how this came to be, Resident Evil 2 was taking a long time in development to finish. And at one point, the designers said, you know what? This isn't working. We need to look at everything again, and we need to redo it. So, to make amends with the people who were patiently waiting for Resident Evil 2, they decided, let's re-release Resident Evil 1 and package this with it. Probably not the best idea, because this beta is a broken mess. And we'll be seeing a lot of this stuff that could have been, and thankfully a lot of this didn't end up coming to fruition. This is a very broken beta, and it's a miracle we were able to get it in the first place. Recently, a ROM was released, so if you have a PlayStation emulator, you are able to play this if you can get the ROM, and there's a lot of cool stuff you can learn about the initial development of Resident Evil 2. The best example, starting out, is the other character. Instead of Claire Redfield, we have Elza Walker. Leon S. Kennedy, he's not going anywhere. I guess, apparently the designers thought he was a really cool character, and I'm really glad they kept him. But Elza Walker was just a normal college student coming home from university. And that's who we're going to look at first. Leon, I love you, man, but we're going to look at you a bit later. And I do love how they put all the simple stats. Leon only being 21. So he's ready to party in his first day in Raccoon City on the police department, and of course, zombies. But Elza, on the other hand, let's take a look at her first. Now you'll notice by her design, she kind of has the ponytail that Claire ends up with, and another thing is her suit. She is a motorcyclist, and that is one of the things that carried over into Claire Redfield's design, is the fact that she rides motorcycles. Now, you are going to see a lot of backgrounds that aren't finished. You're going to see a lot of camera angles that don't work. But one of the cooler things that I think, at least as far as this beta is concerned, is a lot of decisions I wish they would have kept. I talked a lot about this during the initial Let's Play of Resident Evil 2, and there are so many good ideas in here that they decided to scrap for the regular release. And that disappoints me, because there were some really good ideas. I'm guessing this is inside the police department. It's not exactly told where this place is, and you'll notice the Raccoon Police Department has had an absolute overhaul. Like, there's no giant first room, that's multiple floors that you can go up. No, it's just a series of different rooms. And that's something I should bring up right now. You are going to be seeing a lot of jumping, because the way this beta was set up is, because not all the doors are connected to the right spots, you actually have to go into the debug menu and go to the different rooms. There is no possible way to get to some of these rooms. The first thing I want to show off, the inventory screen. Not a lot has changed. You still have the standard arms. You still have all the weapons that you can equip. What's kind of different is right here, you can see like a little ID badge there. And another thing we're going to scroll through are all the items that you could possibly get in the game. Now, I'm going to speed this up because this took forever to look through. There are so many items, so many different types of guns. Now, as you'll notice here, the equip arms. Based on this, you can probably think that the equip arms was like a secondary item. Like, if there was an opportunity to, you could press another button and equip your secondary item, whether it be a knife, a quick handgun that you could put in a side holster, anything like that. And then your standard arm would be the regular item that you have. And then you have the rest of your items on the right. So if there were separate inventories for the different types of items, that would have been fantastic. Now, looking through here, you see there are multiple types of shotgun shells, guns that don't even fit into the screen, rocket launchers, the grenade launchers. A lot of these designs match what they are in the actual game, but a lot of these were taken out. Especially all of these and the different types of grenades. They were actually going to have throwable grenades as well as the grenade launcher, which wouldn't have made any sense. It's probably a good idea that they got rid of the regular grenades instead of the grenade launcher. And another thing you'll notice there's tons of key items in there too. But the different grenade colors almost match what they are in Resident Evil 4. Almost. They probably changed the colors a bit, changed the effects. It makes sense that they changed a lot of things for 4 because 4 is so good. But that's irrelevant. Let's go ahead and get on to one of the only connected rooms. This is actually connected to the first room we started in. And... terror! Oh no, it's just a regular business office. There's a lot of dialogue differences between Leon and Elza. Makes a lot of sense, but you'll notice the different things they say, it's all depending on their mindset and what has actually happened to them. I'm thinking most of the dialogue was based on the fact that Elza is a college student, so she said she doesn't like the computer up close to her face, and, you know, when she's doing all the college work, yeah, that would be kind of annoying. And for the life of me, when I was playing through this, I actually did a live stream where we took a couple hours to look through each person's campaign. I could not get these zombies to wake up. It's the perfect setup for a game like this. You do one thing, you get one key item, and suddenly the zombies get up. Now, going through all these different rooms, there are actually tons of differences between Leon's and Elza's, as mentioned before, but it's the changing of events that makes me think that the difficulty was actually based on the character you chose. Now, Leon and Claire in the regular Resident Evil 2, there was almost no difficulty change. Claire had more weapons to use, especially in the grenade launcher where you had a bunch of different types of ammunition. That made it somewhat easier, but then again, Leon had more powerful weapons, so it almost balanced out. And what you're going to see between this video and the next video, which is going to be Leon's part of the beta, there's a lot of different changes as far as events. Now, this is absolutely silly. I tried this out before we actually did do a live stream of this, and first of all, the knife, still useless. This is still the worst knife in existence of Resident Evil. But another thing is, if you don't kill this zombie, the first cutscene, you will get killed. And also the bodies disappear. Must have been pre-beta stuff. But you can actually die during the opening cutscene because the cutscene will happen. It's supposed to happen correctly. She's supposed to see a zombie munching on a dude on the floor. The zombie gets up and goes after her. That doesn't happen in the beta. Whenever a cutscene happens, you can't move, but everything else can. So that zombie, it wasn't programmed correctly initially, so it was still walking around and killing me in the cutscene. And by the way, this beta is brought to you by Pepsi. It seems like they were going to rely on corporate sponsors to get this game funded. And this is the only Pepsi machine, to my knowledge, in this beta. And what I like is, a lot more of this stuff seems not as artistic as what Resident Evil 2 became. There's a lot of stuff that looks artsy, that looks realistic, such as the old-fashioned Pepsi machine, the painting on the wall that actually looks like a human being. But I do know that during the overhaul, they wanted to make Resident Evil 2 look a bit more artistic, so there's tons more statues, a lot of checkered floors, and speaking of floor, I am currently in the floor, the quote-unquote floor. If the texture was in properly, I would be waist deep in the floor. This is pretty sad. It's either that or there's an invisible floor texture that box is lying on. But for the time being, I can't do anything. This is what you're going to be seeing for most of the beta, and it is this broken. I know this probably isn't what was sent to players to play the beta, but this is still pretty sad. I mean, you had to have had something closer to being finished. They still had the opening and closing of doors, that's good. And then all of a sudden we're on the roof. Okay. Now, what's interesting about this is technically this is part of a separate cutscene. So we walked into a completely separate cutscene, and we'll be meeting up with the first part of that cutscene later. The different rooms you go into, they will automatically restart what they were supposed to do. So this dude, he's just going to walk on air and then fall straight down. I'm guessing we were supposed to follow him, and if you actually look closely at his model, he's actually the gun store owner. Mr. Kendo, I guess. We can't go anywhere else. We cannot jump down. We cannot follow him. That wasn't input yet. And we are stuck on the roof. Now you might be wondering, can't we just go back through the door we came in? Well, first of all, take a look at this door. That's a ladder. What happens if we try to go up the ladder again? It becomes a door, to which time resets itself. Except that Mr. Kendo, I guess he doesn't come back, so that was my mistake. Now for the fun part. We're going into the debug menu, and we're going to be checking on the different rooms. There are tons of rooms. Just like Resident Evil 2, there are tons of rooms to check. And they are a lot of fun to go through, especially with how broken this is. So let's take a magical journey into the different realms, and let's go see the different rooms. Let's start with Chief Iron's office. This redesign is amazing. Look at that. He has a model of the city. And he's also a ghost. If you want true horror, try seeing this for the first time. It's hilarious. And by the way, Elza's a giantess. She is huge. She also likes to bob her head every time Chief Irons flashes into existence. It's really funny. And also, I don't think I'm allowed to climb on this. I'm currently inside the texture. This beta is magical. If you ever get a chance to get a working PlayStation emulator and the ROM itself, this is a joy to play for Resident Evil fans. Is it good? Oh lord no, it's a broken, disgusting mess. But it does give you some insight as to what you'll be seeing. I actually like the design of Chief Iron's office. He basically has an eye on the city both ways while sitting in his chair. He could look at the model up front, or maybe that's a model of something he wants to build. Maybe he's a tycoon for land. But then he can turn around and see the rest of Raccoon City and what's going on. Really, really cool. Good. Huh? Chief Irons? Chief? Ah! Oh my god! Oh my god, that's the worst thing! Oh, finally, we're meeting some enemies, but then again, I would have loved to have fought Zombie Chief Irons, like the ghost. The ghost of Chief Irons. Oh, John! John, you're gone! Oh no! Oh, okay, your foot is through the floor. That's nice. Let me go ahead and help you out there, buddy. And this might look a bit familiar. John, you're glitching. John, are you... Oh, we're going through a door again, and I have a strange feeling. Yep, we've gone down the ladder. That is the first part of that cutscene we saw earlier. So apparently we were supposed to go with John, but it wasn't meant to be. Oh, and that guy just flashed into existence. And this is really bad. Oh, this is very bad, especially since you can't use healing items in this beta. Oh my god. Oh god. Well, I guess I can... Oh, he is in the wall. In fact, both of those guys are eventually going to go through the wall. Something I would like to show off, because I've been hurt, pieces of my suit are going to have blood on it and slightly torn. They added battle damage to the original version of Resident Evil 2. And that's one of the changes I wish they would have kept. And also, dogs. They're freaking everywhere, and I have no gun. Elza has no gun. Even though we have access to every single weapon in the game, we cannot use the gun. Of course, I honestly didn't try to change the item and then go back into the game. But to tell you the truth, if you change any of the items, you lock up the game. Oh, look at that. Who's this guy? I think we came in at the wrong time, Elza. He's staring off into space. Dude, are you okay? Oh, I can't even push you. Hey. Pay attention to me. Oh, it's that John guy. I honestly wanted to see if he would do anything, and it doesn't look like he's going to do anything. Well, fine then. John, what's going on here? Did I meet you in the middle of a kerfuffle? Maybe. I really want to know who you are, because you're not Leon. So, who the hell are you? Oh, okay. We did walk into the middle of that cutscene. John and Roy. It looks like Roy is on his way to becoming a zombie, one of the final police officers. And, I don't know, it's a bit on debate for me on whether Leon being the last police officer was a good idea or not. In the end, it turned out to be a great idea. And, I think Roy was supposed to fall. He's kind of stuck in the air now. Uh-oh. Well, it looks like the gun store owner, John, I used to call him Kendo, but now I know his name is Boring John. It looks like he played a bit more of an integral part. I don't know if he would have been the gun store owner at that point, but here's me breaking physics. This is all you need to know. Forget whether the original model of the gun store owner was actually supposed to be the gun store owner. I am currently running on the air. I'm currently walking on a table, and now I'm not. And now I'm through the wall. And now I'm gone. Be very, very careful when playing this beta. If you accidentally go onto a texture you were not allowed to go onto, you can't get down. Now, an easy fix for this is going to the debug menu and choosing a different room, and then you'll be in the correct spot. So don't think you have to completely reset the beta there. And here's something interesting. It's a poster for Claire Redfield. If you look at it really closely, that is the model of Claire that they eventually went with. It actually looks like her portrait from Code Veronica. And also, when you go into this room, you can't go out the exit. But what's really funny is going down the stairs. Okay, so it... Oh, okay. Oops. Oh. Elza? Elza, you're gone. Well, I went straight to hell. I went down a set of stairs, walked back 2 steps. Oh, there I am. I'm very, very small. Look how small I am. And now I'm gone. Here's a little something that changed very slightly. This is technically the weapons storage room that was in the police station basement in Resident Evil 2. You can't pick anything up. Obviously, there are no items that you can pick up in this game. I think later on in Leon's campaign, there are actually handgun bullets that we can pick up. And maybe a bit later, we'll be picking something up with Elza. But there aren't a lot of them. And we made it back to where John and Roy were having their little tussle there. I do like this general design. I really wish it wasn't as broken as it is, because I would have loved to have seen the original model here. And as you'll notice, getting an item is more grandiose and very poorly spaced. So here you got 9mm parabellum rounds! Good for you! I was trying to see if they had hid anything in the lockers, but I don't think they made it that far into development. I'm not sure how the development cycle goes. Maybe they create characters first, just make the character models, make the models of the entire area that your game will be taking place. I have no idea. I just know it didn't make it far enough to be perfected, but they at least got the characters in there. And maybe extra animations were added later. Maybe Roy was supposed to, get his head blown off by John there. The universe will never know. And here's a little something funny. I am currently on nothing. But it looks like there's supposed to be a table texture here. I can't even walk anywhere other than here. So, the funny thing is, the zombies can't get me either. They are walking through the space. I am technically... and I'm stabbing him with my with the back of my shin there. So, oh, this is awesome. I loved playing through this the first time. And I love that I have been able to find a way to capture and show it to everyone else. Because this is a piece of Resident Evil history. And it's a very cool piece of history. It's also very funny to play it today and see what could have been and how broken that what could have been is. And I have a strange feeling I'm not going to be able to kill this guy because I can no longer hit him. Maybe if I turn all the way around again, I can, Oh, wait. Oh, there we go. I'm kind of getting him. I do find it funny that he still can't hit me. And this also begs the question, zombies have, or regular zombies I should say, have 2 different attacks. One where they grapple you, and one where they like spit acid on you. I can't remember. Oh, it's been forever since I finished Resident Evil 2, but I can't remember if that actually happened to me or not. I'm sure it did, because all the zombies from Resident Evil 1, 2, and even 0 spit acid if you were on a plane higher than them. So if you're heading up the stairs, because they weren't programmed to grapple you on the stairs, it would have made it annoying, and it probably would have glitched out the sprites and everything. They made it so that they had a secondary attack, and there's no way I'm getting out of there. So let's go to a completely different room. This is the front part of the morgue. We are not going to do that again. That's where I got stuck. So technically, we are in the basement of the Raccoon Police Department. It's not as elaborate as the other one, but it does have a parking garage. We'll be hitting that here in a bit, because there is one more thing I'm really glad they didn't keep. This is one of the changes I approve of. Oh, wait, we have a pickupable item. No, Elza! You weren't supposed to climb into reality? Oh, you fool! You were just supposed to pick up the item, not climb onto nothing. Elza, why? And also, you have a tear in the back of your suit. How'd that happen, hon? It clearly wasn't my playing that... Oh. I guess you didn't want to talk... Oh, wait, you did want to talk to me. And now you're gone again. And all of that from trying to pick up an item. Makes sense. Now, here's one place that should have been kept. Jail cell... Wait, there were jail cells in Resident Evil 2. What am I talking about? And I suddenly walked into a jail cell and walked outside. Oops. Don't do that. But these jail cells have a specific quirk to them. And it's actually in Leon's campaign that we'll be getting more into that. And that's another piece of evidence that shows me that Leon was supposed to be the hard mode. So it seems that Capcom was under the impression that if you are a woman, you are easy mode. Oh, Elza, why? There was nothing to climb on. There was a door, and then you walked in, and then there was no door, and then you climbed onto nothing. Come on, don't do this to me. And now I can't find you. But Leon has more to deal with in his part of the beta. Just like Chris Redfield had less inventory, and a lot, like, it was harder to get weapons for him. So, maybe they just think we should go easier on women characters, on female characters? I'm not going to get into a debate like that. I'm just going to try to climb on reality again, because that is hilarious when it happens. You don't want it to happen because you can't advance, but then again, that's what the debug menu's for. Let's see. Wait, oh, that's very not supposed to... Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. I want to think that you had to come visit somebody in the jail cells. But it looks like he's been turned to a pixeled mess. Maybe the mass murderer is Mr. Game & Watch. I have no idea. But we were eventually supposed to go into the different prison cells and maybe get a specific item, maybe talk to somebody. I'm not sure. Maybe we're bringing back the plot where Ada was trying to find John and we had to talk to that reporter, that snide reporter in the jail cells. Speaking of which, don't quote me on this, but I don't think Ada was part of the original story when it came to this version of Resident Evil 2. I think she was added later just to have it like undercover espionage tactic. And I have a strange feeling we broke the game. Well, that sucks. Because I don't think we can get out of here without climbing into negative space. And this is probably one of my favorites. First of all, some rooms, the camera does not move. That's already a problem. So I have no idea where I am right now. The best part about this is, when we actually reset the room, what happens if we... Oh. Elza, you're an action figure! Just with a small change of perspective, Elza is so small. She's a very tiny person right now. Just because the camera doesn't want to move, the perspective has changed. You better be careful with this action figure. She'll cut your arm off. Oh, there we go. Oh, we're back. Now, I don't know what role John would have had in the game, but he was meant to follow you for the longest time. And I have a strange feeling this was to add on to the cutscene we had earlier where he helped me on the roof, and then we had to follow him. So chances are we met up here. Maybe he was searching for Roy? I have no idea. I just know his AI is very creepy right now. John, I don't want to know what you're doing back there. Well, would you please leave me alone? And come with me into negative space. Oh, maybe I can glitch him out. Maybe. John, get out of my way. John, you are not making this easy. Okay, let's try that again. Another interesting thing is, besides him going through that cabinet there, some of the puzzles may have also been the same. This was the power puzzle that we had to go through in the regular Resident Evil 2. Unfortunately, when I went onto that screen, I kind of broke the game again. But just know that some of the puzzles have stayed from the original development phase. And the funny thing about John is, he will, it's like he's ashamed to look at you, and I certainly would be too. He'll start spinning around in circles, and then stop. Here's a really funny Easter egg. It was unintentional, but I have a feeling it has a connection. Here is the dog kennel for Claire. And right there was the dog kennel for Jojo and Piers. Piers is a character that shows up in Resident Evil 6. Could it have been that they took a name from years ago and finally implemented it into a game? That would be ridiculous. How would that go in the boardroom? Talking, it's like, hey, we need a name for a sidekick for Chris Redfield in Resident Evil 6. Who do we go with? Can we look through the Capcom archives? Yeah, sure. How about this name Piers from the Resident Evil 2 beta that nobody played? That is ridiculous. And by the way, this will be the last room we're going to be looking at. It looks like this is probably towards the front, maybe in a garage where the police cars could have been salvaged. But as far as the beta is concerned, it's a place to run through the walls and not being able to get down it. But it is kind of cool to, see what we were able to see. And now I'm gone. So the next episode we'll be looking at is Leon Kennedy's part of the beta. And hopefully it's a lot better than this. Oh boy.